This is an opportunity for the City of Clinton to comment, not Anthony Fox, Detective Fox. He will do so at a later date at his choosing, so we're not going to have any questions for him. But we do have up here today, we've got an alderman from the third ward, Robert Chapman. We've got various police officers, our police chief here, and we've got the Fox family up here also, certainly still smiling from yesterday. So, Detective Anthony Fox has been released after 551 days of incarceration. The Court of Appeals overturned the Circuit Court's decision January 30th, and he finally left jail February 7th. Many thanks to the Court of Appeals for their decision. Reviewing the entirety of events and the many other events over the last 20 years, I must ask if an innocent person can get a fair shake in our county. Many of us have watched as repeated offenders walk free to exploit the population again. We have watched as those with ankle monitors roam the county without supervision. And every night there seems to be a new horrific crime in our county by those who do not fear prosecution. The problem is not with law enforcement. It is the judges you elect. Judges should never use their courtroom to pursue a political agenda or initiate social justice. Doing so removes the blindfold from Lady Justice and tips the scales of justice against one very important principle everyone expects from the judicial system. And that principle is proving guilt, not proving innocence. Having watched one of the newly re-elected judges operate in circuit court gives me little hope for the future. The very thought of someone like Judge Adriana Wooten on the bench should strike terror in the souls of those who believe in judicial fairness to all. This statement is proven when reading the Court of Appeals reversal. I'm amazed at the number of errors made by Judge Wooten. The Court of Appeals found Judge Wooten abused her discretion by improperly disallowing an appropriate jury instruction. While this was the only instance of Judge Wooten's error that was reviewed in the appeal, I and many others that follow this case closely believe that a review of the trial records clearly shows many instances of judicial error and incompetence. Even the Court of Appeals judge voting in dissent stated, "However, I find that the jury was not properly instructed in several respects and would reverse the conviction and recommend the matter for a new trial with proper instructions." How much more incompetent and mean-spirited can a judge, in this case Wooten, be than to give improper instructions to a jury when a person's future is at stake? How much stronger could the higher court rebuke any judge's skills? The judicial court judge hearing the same evidence presented by the DA in the trial of officers Barney and Lampley threw the case out before a defense was necessary. Why? Because the evidence presented by the DA did not prove his case. So these two outstanding officers were completely exonerated without the defense putting up an argument. The results with the same evidence in Detective Fox's case was just the opposite. The Attorney General's office, tasked with trying the prosecution's case on appeal, disagreed with the DA's evidence and the Chancery Court findings and decided against pursuing the prosecution in the Court of Appeals. I've never heard of that happening. The Mississippi Court of Appeals overturned the conviction, citing insufficient credible evidence to convince Fox as the basis of their reversal. The Court of Appeals' decision to overturn was based on mistakes made by Judge Wooten and the insufficient evidence presented by the Hinds County District Attorney, Jody Owens. I am grateful to the Court of Appeals that they had the courage to right this wrong. Although this nightmare for Detective Fox is over, one must wonder after watching this unfold if anyone can receive justice from a Hinds County judge elected to be fair and impartial. One must also ask why, with this lack of judicial support, would anyone go into law enforcement. But now we move on. The city of Clinton welcomes Detective Fox back. He was officially rehired Tuesday night at our Board of Aldermen meeting, and we look forward to this outstanding officer's return to duty. The city is happy that this great officer is back, helping protect our city. Clinton is a better place with Detective Fox on duty. I'll now answer any questions that you have. Thank you. Or for the chief, any questions?
I have a question.
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
Chief. Chief, can you just talk about just the impact of Fox being back on your force? I know he was someone who made a big impact on your narcotics force, about, like you said, over 500 days ago. Just tell me the impact of him being back.
The impact starts the day he didn't come back to this department, and the hole that it created within this department. And our service is not as good to this community without Detective Fox on duty. The mayor just said that, and we've said that all along. So now we have a chance for Fox to get back, and we'll fill that hole up and we'll get back to work. I expect he's a catalyst. He's the engine, that seems to drive us and move us forward in so many different ways. When he's around, everybody's performing a little bit better, a little bit more efficiently, and what a day. What a day for us at the Clinton Police Department, but what a day for this guy. He's back with his family where he never should have spent one night without him. So please let me thank the Mississippi Attorney General's office for looking at the law and deciding to apply it correctly and standing up for Detective Fox. Let me thank the Mississippi Court of Appeals for, in this case, doing what's right. And that's the answer.
Chief, one other question.
Yeah.
I just want to know the reaction the department had the day that we found out that Fox would be returning and would be released. I want to have that explained a little bit.
I don't know that words can express the feelings that the entire department felt. Again, not having Fox has been a terrible thing. With his return, it's we're going to do a better job.
Let me answer something on that Chief didn't say. I was in Memphis on a family matter about 2 o'clock when he called me, and I could hear all the hooping and hollering in the background. And he said, look, they're all going to Madison to get him. I'm going to jump in the truck, and he didn't get there in time. The truck had left him. So they were excited. These guys blasted off out of here, and they went out to get Fox and bring him back. So. Other questions?
For you or the chief, just talk to me about the importance of having a support system, because you guys are here, of course, supporting him. Just talk about that role that you guys played for the family.
I almost want to bring my computer and play We Are Family while we were waiting for y'all today. I think that's a fair statement. Clinton police officers, Clinton Public Service, this city looks after them. These guys will go to lunch and have their lunches paid for. People recognize them. They know who they are. They're not strangers to anybody here. The town was horrified at the Judge Wooten's court's decision, and they are happy today because they kept up with this. It wasn't like he was forgotten for 500 days. No. People would ask me about it all the time. Where are we with this? And where's the appeal process, and how does it work? And frankly, I learned a lot about courts and how they work, and they do seem to move glacially slow, especially if you're him. They move slow. But the town, here's a story. I was going to, a couple of years back, I wanted to buy rifles for all the police officers. And I was planning to make that announcement at the chamber banquet in January. And I told one of the reporters about it. He went on air that night, and in 2 weeks we had bought 60 rifles from people in town contributing their own money. So this community supports our police. The family portion of this just can't be overstated. and how important it is that we're all here together.
Mayor, how successful do you think you would have been in helping Fox be released and having that appeal decision? How successful do you think it would have been if the city had not stepped in?
Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, we did what we could do. Fox's attorney is back here. He did what he could do. Everybody was doing what they could do. And we just had to wait for the legal system to take its course. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I grew up watching, you know, Perry Mason and Law and Order. I thought when you were exonerated, you walked out of court. And when they didn't bring him back last Tuesday, you know, where is he? And he said, well, we got to wait now for an order to come through. I had no idea about that. So it was a learning process that we all had to go through. But, you know, what we could do, we tried to do, and we wanted to stay out of the way. We didn't want to give anybody an opportunity to further harm Fox because of our actions.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
What can the city do to help bring some type of accountability to the corrupt DA in Hinds County that brought this nonsense to begin with?
Vote him out of office. Because once you're in, you're in. And if you have beliefs that run counter to law enforcement, look, this isn't a racial deal, this isn't a gender deal, age, you know, it's none of that. This is being fair to everybody in the city, everybody in the county, when they commit a crime. We need to put people behind bars who need to be there. But we need to exonerate people who are not guilty and who have been tried. And exonerate them with the same emphasis and press coverage that they were found guilty with. You can't do that to somebody, affect and ruin their lives, and then say, oh, well, my bad, and let's all go back and live a good life. Accountability is important, but, you know, at the end of the day, we just had an election. And I believe the DA was elected with a pretty substantial margin, as were all of the judges who ran for re-election. So people complain about it, but then you turn around and vote for the same people back in. Anything else for anybody?
How can trust or confidence be put back into the legal system when you go through something like this?
Well, people should understand first that the police departments are doing their job. They are bringing the people in. And they're setting them in front of a judge. Our judge, you know, we don't play here. But if you can figure a way to get to the county, I mean, I've had this issue since I came into office in 2013. One of the things I was explained to early on was that at that point we had 62 cases on appeal in Hinds County. I was interviewing attorneys for the city attorney position, and they said, we don't really care what the city court does. Find us guilty. We're good. We're going to appeal it. It's going to go to Hinds County, and it's going to die. They'll never hear the case. They will just let it go away. And over time, police officers move, witnesses move or pass away. I mean, you know, there's all kinds of things that go on. And those guys are walking around free, unlike our innocent person was. So this has been a long-term problem. And trying to create, you know, this revolving door that's been going on at the courthouse because of the judges. It puzzles me about this. It really does. And you wonder why things are so, you know, wild out there in certain parts of this county. If people don't fear prosecution, then they're just going to run crazy. And this is a problem that it stretches all across America, as you can watch on the national news. But you know, there has to be some way to get normalcy back, and the idea that a person, regardless of who they are, can walk down the street and not worry about getting attacked, not worrying about a motor scooter. And I just saw this morning recordings of a motor scooter running down the street, snatching purses and dragging women down the street and into stop signs and things. But this isn't what we do in America. And we need to support our police officers and demand of our judges that they do what they need to do. But it's frustrating. I wrote a letter to the Judicial Review Committee many years ago about a particular judge stating, this is what is happening. When people are let go, here's what they did. why aren't y'all disciplining this judge, reprimanding this judge? And they say, well, this judge is acting within their judicial authority. Well, what kind of answer is that? People are dying after you let them go, and they're acting within their judicial authority? I mean, the next question I had was, does it pay to be on the Judicial Review Board, and can I get on it? I mean, how hard a job can it be if that's how you're going to respond to everything? And it's just unsatisfactory. And I think part of that is why the governor came up with the Capitol Police and the, I've forgotten what it's called right now, where they have the judge set, CCID. That's a response to that. That's a response to that kind of stuff that's going on, is to try to make some areas safer so that the Jackson Police Force can be relieved to go to other areas to make it safer. You know, and I hope it works. It needs to work because something has got to happen.
When is Fox's official first day back?
Today.
I mean,
Today. You see him, he's hard at it right now.
his first official shift that will begin.
We'll get back with him on that, and because he does have some time. We want him to have some time with Annika, his dog, well, and his wife and his children. I'm sure Annika was all up in everybody's lap last night getting belly rubs. It had to be a happy day. But no, it's when he's ready to come back, we will bring him back and put him back on duty and be proud of it. Anything else? Chief, you have anything else? Good.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.